At the start of this project, I told you guys this is what we were aiming for. And in today's video, you're going to see that this is what we achieved. The question is, did it make any power? Did it blow up? Was all that work a complete waste, or did we accomplish what we set out to do? You'll have to watch the video to the end to find out. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to dyno the Hot V LT powered Supra. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with this project, basically we've taken an LS and installed some LT cylinder heads, but retain the factory LS cam because they changed the valve order on the LT cylinder head and it basically bolts onto an LS. What we've effectively done is made an LS into a Hot V configuration. That's right, we're flowing the intake through what were formerly the exhaust ports and flowing the exhaust out of what was formerly the intake ports. Now, right off the bat, I should set some expectations. By flowing the exhaust out the intake ports and flowing the intake into the exhaust ports, you're naturally going to cause some limitations with how the engine is going to perform. The factory makes the intake ports and the intake valves larger than the exhaust valves and exhaust ports for a reason. And it's been found that it's better to make those intake ports bigger than the exhaust ports. So all that to say, this engine is not going to perform the same as a factory LS engine with a turbo. But that's not what we're going for with this engine. We're going for the really cool appearance that we have here, but most importantly, the sound. By placing the exhaust in the center, we can really optimize the primary lengths that go to our 8-into-1 collector. And while it's not a perfect equal length setup yet, the primary lengths are much more suited for the RPM range that we plan to be running this engine at, which is something that you're not going to get with a traditional 8-into-1 setup on a traditional setup LS. Also, I think it looks really cool, so there's that as well. And as we've talked about in previous episodes, there's also some reliability concerns with this, but we're going to find out if we have an issue going forward by just running it and seeing what happens. And speaking of running it, let's get on to the dyno. So right off the bat, you're going to notice there's a lot of smoke coming out of that exhaust. And if you guys haven't noticed, there's a lot of experimental stuff on this particular project. And experimental stuff is very prone to failure. So we decided to take an engine that had a significant amount of wear on it and use it for this project rather than something that was a little more fresh. There's a lot of risks with this particular project, mainly having to do with what is now our exhaust valve and formerly was the intake valve. It's not receiving near the amount of cooling that it used to, so things like having the valve guide grab a hold of the valve and cause the thing to get stuck open and have a piston run into it. That's a very real risk. A valve seat could fall out of the head, or the valve could just melt in general and fall into the cylinder. Therefore, we put an engine into the car that had seen some stuff. This engine used to be in our 1980 Pontiac Sunbird, and we ran it with a single S480 turbo, and in its final iteration, it was running a pretty big shot of methanol. This engine ended up blowing a head gasket at like 150 miles per hour, and there's a good chance that some of the cylinders that probably saw a pretty lean air-fuel mixture may have lost some tension in some rings or, you know, had some other issues. Therefore, we kind of chalked up all of the oil smoke up to that. But in our previous testing, in our driveway burnouts and that kind of stuff, we noticed that the oil would start to clear up once the engine got some temperature. So, on to the next pull. comment that I'd like to add is, I said at the very beginning of this project that this thing was going to need boost. If we back calculate the amount of horsepower that this thing would be making if it was naturally aspirated, based on some of the pressure ratios that we've seen, you can see that it's not making a ton of horsepower if it were naturally aspirated. Now someday, I would love to do a revised cylinder head setup that has the correct intake and exhaust size, and since I was right that we needed access to boost, let's give it some more. That way. Yep. Okay, that was 12.6 pounds.
Is it bleeding the whole way up?
Is it what?
Bleeding boost the whole way up? Because that's how the graph looks now.
No, it's actually gaining boost.
What's that?
It's actually gaining boost.
That's what I meant. So it's gaining, yeah.
Yep.
So now it's saying it's making power.
Well, but it's not a crazy. Well, yeah, I guess it is kind of a crazy.
Yep. That line. Look at the.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I want it to sing. You know, the whole point of this. Yeah, the whole point of this exercise is the sound. So. 6,500. Yeah, but the boost curve is like this. Yeah, everything looks good. You put out way less smoke. Yeah, the manifold.
The power went out.
Yeah, the manifold.
That took a long time because you wasn't going that fast.
No.
It only reached 96 miles an hour.
96. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, and everything looks good. And oil pressure's not keeping up either, but. Here's my opinion. How would you run, let's say, 3-4 times until you got your 600 horsepower? Right. And just say, okay, now we're not going to take junk at it now. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, this is a proof of concept. This is, you know. Okay, proof of concept. Yeah. I guess I'll turn up the boost again. Yep. We're going to have to put a good engine in this thing. Alright guys, I'd like to make a brief aside here to talk about an engine that I didn't even know about until we started doing this project. Turns out Ford did a Hot V engine way back in the 60s for almost the same reason as what we did. Now, they weren't exactly chasing the sound with their engine, but they were chasing exhaust scavenging. Due to their packaging concerns with their open wheel race program, they decided to develop the Ford 255. This was a Hot V configuration, and they did it so that they could optimize for the optimal primary length with their 180-degree header setup. Now, we're doing an 8-into-1 header setup, but it is interesting to see that I guess I'm not crazy. Okay, I'm a little crazy, but I'm not the only one to have fallen down this similar thought process, and that's kind of neat to see. Now, in the turbocharged application, a Hot V configuration is often used in order to help spool the turbos a little bit better. But obviously, we didn't really go for that on this one. I was pretty heavily focused on the sound aspect, but I just thought this was an interesting factoid that I could pass on to you guys. Many of you have left comments about it, and I thought it was interesting to include in today's video. So, let's get back to the dyno. This next part of the video, this is where I give you the stick to beat me with. Go ahead, take it, just go easy on me. As I mentioned earlier, we've run this engine previously in a 1980 Sunbird, so we have some data on how the thing performed with a conventional set of cylinder heads. We had a set of truck LS heads on the combination before. They were, I believe, 862 casting, and it was the same exact camshaft, Granted, it had 1:7 rocker ratios, so we had a little bit less lift and probably a little bit less duration because of it. And we ran it on the same boost level as what you just saw with that single S480 turbo in a non-intercooled configuration and with a big shot of methanol. With the no intercooler setup, it made 624 wheel horsepower on the same exact dyno, and with the big shot of methanol, it made 656. As you just saw, on 16 pounds of boost, with the hot V configuration, we only made 489 horsepower. And yeah, that's kind of what you get for flowing the intake through what was formerly the exhaust ports. And that very much shows you guys that boost is very much just a measure of restriction. And clearly, our new intake ports are pretty restrictive. That being said, I think the sound of this is a whole lot better than the sound of this. So now that we found out that this setup indeed is more restrictive, let's eliminate that restriction by adding more boost.
It was 19.4. I added 10% on the boost controller, and I can go. Do you want to just get it done?
Do another 10%, I guess. Or
I mean, do you want to just get it done?
that's up to you.
All right, let's just get it done.
Okay.
I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. Boost cut.
I don't even know if I have that set. I don't even have that set. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Boost is a number.
I went down in power by a lot.
It made like 1 more pound of boost.
Turbo's getting bad.
Yeah, that turbo shot.
Well, and it broke up top.
Yeah, I think the turbos are just shot.
Be careful how hot that is. Yeah, it starts screaming about 4,000 RPMs.
Yeah, that sucker's fried. Unfortunately, these ultra cheap eBay turbos just weren't up to the task. You can see there's a nice spot of oil on either side that was not there when we started. And frankly, we've not had great success with these cheap turbos as far as longevity goes. In the past, I just put them on the car because we had a couple of them on the shelf. I believe that one was brand new when we started, and this one had already seen some action, so unfortunately we're gonna have to replace our turbos. Another takeaway that I have from the Dyno session is I'm not 100% sure that the oil here is coming from the engine itself. The engine probably isn't the healthiest thing, but it's probably in better shape than I originally thought, because I think a lot of that oil is coming from our turbos. We did see a little bit of smoke out of the breather right here, but that's pretty typical on a boosted engine, so I'm not super concerned with that. And there's going to be a lot more development on this package as a whole in order to get everything sorted out. Now we have a couple takeaways from the Dyno session from today, one of which is the turbos weren't making boost down low. Now, as you guys saw in the first pool, this was the only pool where we saw a consistent boost level throughout the RPM range, and you could see that the power peak was around the 5,500 RPM mark. And because we didn't see a flat boost curve on the following pulls, we were likely missing our power peaks. So the combo could likely make some more horsepower. Another thing that we were dealing with is the converter that we put into this thing is definitely on the looser side. As we saw on the 489 horsepower pull, it was only pulling 96 miles per hour on the dyno. And with the size tire and the gear ratio that's in the car, that equates to a 33% converter slip. So we're probably giving up a lot of horsepower in the torque converter as well. All that being said, it's just going to perform better at the track that way, so I'm not super concerned. I still want to hit that 600 wheel horsepower mark, and I think we can do it with the torque converter that is in the car. We just need to give it more boost and give it to it sooner. So I'm excited to announce that we're going to be replacing these China boys with some turbos from the guys over at Forced Performance. Those will be installed onto the car in the next episode, and it's going to be neat to see how the combination performs with a more premium form of the GT3582 rather than these bottom of the barrel, cheapest as you can get China boys. Alright guys, overall we had a pretty good day at the dyno. While we didn't make the horsepower that I was hoping, and we did have a few parts failure, we at least proved out that this thing sounds pretty wicked. But the goal is to get this thing to LS Fest 2026 at Bowling Green, Kentucky with this thing, and have a little bit of fun out there with the thing. So I kind of have to figure out, do I have a turbo problem? Do I have an engine problem? So I hope you guys are as excited about this thing as I am. I'm really happy with how this thing came out and how it sounds, but we still have a little bit of development yet to do. So make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.